Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Malacanang says the fire at the Philippine General Hospital will not affect the country's healthcare capacity. Let's get the latest from Camille Samonte, who joins us live from the city of Manila. Hi, Camille. Which hospital operations remain halted because of the fire, and when do we expect these to go back to normal?
Sean, the emergency room in PGH will remain closed in the meantime following the fire that displaced hundreds of its patients. PGH will also not be able to accommodate new patients in the coming days as patients have been transferred to the hospital's new emergency room. They cannot also conduct surgical procedures in the meantime because most of the supplies were damaged. Dr. Gap Legaspi said it would take 3 to 4 months before their operating supply returns to normal operations. They are now coordinating with DOH-1 Hospital Command to accommodate patients that needs to be admitted. Sean?
Have authorities already been able to ascertain the cause of the fire, and exactly how much damage did it leave in the hospital?
Sean, Dr. Gap Legaspi said in Laging Handa briefing earlier that it could be faulty electrical wire or circuit breaker, but they will still have a meeting with the Bureau of Fire Protection to discuss their findings. Dr. Gap Legaspi said their estimate would be 60 million worth of damages of medical equipment and supplies. Sean?
All right, what about the patients that were transferred or who were needed to be transferred? What is their situation? Is everyone okay?
Yes, Sean, PGH Director Dr. Gap Legaspi said all of the affected patients have been returned to their designated wards and rooms, including the newborn babies and pediatric patients. Sean?
All right, very good to hear. Now, as far as the government is concerned, have they promised any assistance to help the PGH get back on its feet?
Sean, according to Secretary Carlito Galvez, the national government is willing to assist the PGH in reconstructing the damaged area with the help of DPWH. Yusek Mark Villar said they will conduct a structure assessment to see the extent of damages before they can fully plan on how they can rehabilitate the damaged area. Sean?
Yeah, any other developments, Camille, from the LGU before we let you go? Camille? Yes, well, were there any developments or further developments from the LGU of Manila?
Yes, Sean, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno promised that they will assist PGH in transferring patients who are in need of a critical surgical procedure since their operating room is affected at this time. The Manila LGU also promised to assist the newborn babies who were transferred in Santa Ana Hospital and got Andres Bonifacio Medical Center. So they promised that they will assist in donating the breast milk for the babies and also in transferring COVID patients. Sean?
All right, thank you so much for that update and stay safe out there. That was Camille Samonte joining us live from the city of Manila. And the health department has reported 5,979 new COVID-19 cases on Monday. And that makes the total caseload stand at some 1,149,000, while the active case count has hit 54,000. 72 more deaths confirmed today, pushing the death toll to over 19,200. On the other hand, total recoveries have reached 1,076,000, with over 6,600 new survivors in the last 24 hours. And the government has administered close to 3 million COVID-19 shots across the country. The latest data from the COVID-19 task force shows that some 714,000 people have been fully vaccinated, while around 2,245,000 have received at least one dose, most of whom are health workers. Let's check in on other vaccine updates from around the world. South Africa is targeting to vaccinate some 5 million of its senior citizens as it rolls out the second phase of its inoculation drive. The country's health minister says they can vaccinate all age 60 and above by the end of June, as long as supplies of COVID-19 shots continue to arrive. The Indian government has vowed to send an additional 5.1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to several parts of the country in the next 3 days. Despite being the world's largest vaccine producer, the South Asian country's inoculation drive remains slow due to record-breaking COVID-19 infections and deaths. And UNICEF is urging G7 countries to donate more jabs to the COVAX facility. The agency says this will help address the supply gap brought about by the disruption to India's vaccine exports. UNICEF says G7 countries could donate 153 million doses if they share 20% of their available supply in the next 3 months. Companies are eyeing full-on office makeovers to draw employees back to their workplaces. Let's take a look at how they're doing that in this video from Bloomberg.
Sometimes all the office needs is a little bit of R&R. More than a year now into the pandemic, businesses are trying to draw their workers back to the office. In order to do so, they're going to have to find creative solutions with collaboration and comfort in the office space. I'm here at the National Design Center in Singapore. Paperspace Asia, a regional firm, is trying to help businesses draw back those workers. So I'm going to take a look at some of the coolest elements of the new office space. Let's take a look. Let me take you through the lounge area, where the purpose here is to make a comfortable and flexible and collaborative workplace. I can certainly get used to this. One of the goals, of course, in all this, too, is space efficiency. So gone are the days where you'd have to run into a conference room, a big area to make a personal phone call. Right now, we've got a phone booth, soundproof, comfortable, and with some tricky lighting. Of course, the modern workplace wouldn't be complete without its own pantry. Even some nice jazz tunes in the background. Self-serve coffee, snacks, efficiency of space. These are all things they were trying to achieve. Of course, bringing people together over food. It's always a good idea. Next door, there's a lounge with some nice seating, and I can attest this is way more comfortable than my desk in the home office. I think we could all use a few less screens these days. So in a lot of these layouts, you'll see whiteboards, Post-it notes, other ways of collaborating and getting the ideas across without the use of screens. But of course, you can't avoid them, so they've got the screens too. On sound, Paperspace wants to show off these cool objects. So these are sound buffers. They both serve to kind of damp the noise, but also to divide your space if you want to set off certain parts of the office.
In the past, we were dealing with headcount growth, leases ending, how do we optimize space? Now that challenge has now completely changed on its head in a post-pandemic world. Greater demand now for corporate real estate, reduce carbon footprint, reduce footprint, and to increase activation within the workplace. So the metrics of performance of space and people will change.
This area is another way to get away from the screens, but also, at least for a time, the collaboration. We'll return to the people first, but people first also means taking care of yourself.
We'll have more stories after this short break. Keep it here. One News Now, I'm Sean Yao. President Duterte has signed 2 executive orders in a bid to ensure food security and to protect consumers. Shyla Francisco with the report.
Prices of rice in markets are down to the 33 to 55 pesos per kilo range for both local and imported varieties. That's why consumers like Bibing still have room to buy other needs.
Hindi kagaya noon na mga 50, hindi pa siya ganun kasarap. Pero ngayon, nasa 40 lang, masarap na siya. Yung adjust mo dito sa bigas, mai-budget mo sa ibang kagaya niyan, ulam, sa mga daily needs.
The Agriculture Department is hoping to sustain this price range after President Duterte signed Executive Order 135. Under the EO, the tariff for rice imports for both ASEAN and non-ASEAN countries will be lowered to 35% for 1 year.
There have been increasing global rice prices. So we need to really not depend on ASEAN, but to diversify our market sources.
The Federation of Free Farmers is worried that the lower tariff could result in at least a 1 peso per kilo decrease in palay prices starting September, the main harvest season. They are also worried that the government could lose 100 million pesos in tariff collection, which is used to support programs for farmers under the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. With this, the FFF is set to submit a letter to Congress to appeal the EO.
Kasi ang nangyari, bumaba yung presyo ng imports, pero hindi naman pinasa ng importer at saka wholesaler yung pagbaba sa mga consumer. No? And ito yung masakit. Hindi nila mapababa yung presyo ng bigas na kasalanan ng importer at saka wholesaler. Yung farmer ngayon ang pinapabayad nila ng kahinaan nila.
Meanwhile, Duterte has also signed EO 134, increasing the tariff rates for pork first declared in EO 128. This is based on the compromise reached by the Senate and economic managers after lawmakers and local producers opposed the much lower rates under EO 128. The Meat Importers and Traders Association said this could lead to a 5% increase in imported pork. Consumers may still enjoy lower pork prices as adjustments may take a while to materialize. This is because bulk of the imports that will see a higher tariff could arrive 3 months from now. Some importers may also wait for higher demand during the Burr months and when the government further reopens the economy to increase sales.
It works 2 ways. You can say, I'm going to absorb the increase, o yung mga nag-import na dumating na naka-avail ng 5%, they will say, hindi, antayin ko na lang ang increase and itaas ko ng presyo.
For its part, Laban Consumer is urging the DA to control the possible impact of the new EOs by setting a price ceiling for pork imports and a suggested retail price for rice imports. This is to prevent importers from pocketing profits at the expense of consumers. The DA says an SRP for imported rice is not needed at the moment, but an SRP for pork will be released soon. Shyla Francisco, we are One News.
20-year-old Elijah Canlas has been named Best Actor in the 2021 Harlem International Film Festival. And this is for his performance in Kalel 15, co-produced by the Idea First Company and Signal Entertainment. The film was written and directed by June Robles Lana and follows the gripping story of a teenager played by Canlas as he deals with family issues and the stigma of having HIV. Canlas became a household name with the online boy love series Game Boys. In celebration of the actor's victory, Signal will be releasing Kalel 15 for free via Signal Play. The film will be available on the Signal Play app for a whole week. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.